All right. Good morning. Let's hop straight to it. All right. So we've got Euro versus GBP. This is a sell. $0.6532. All right. Euro GBP is a minor Forex currency. It's a cross pair between the euro and the Great British Pound Sterling. You can find this pair on both liquid brokers and LHFX. The links to both of those brokers can be found in the description to this video. Give me a second so I can put together the parameters for this, and then I'll get it posted for the chat. I need to be better. This is the second time today I've been late for deception. I was late for London as well, where I heard my original alarm and I didn't hear the second one. So I am running late this morning. Euro GBP. All right, so it says 3.87 risk to reward ratio. Entry at 86811. Stop loss is 86883. Seven pips. And take profit at 86532. For 28 pips. All right, here's your first call of the morning. This is Euro versus Great British Pound. It's a 15-minute confirmation, a market execution sell. Entry price is 0.86811. Stop loss is 0.86883 for 7 pips. Take profit is 0.86532 for 28 pips. And a risk reward ratio of 3.87. And the reason why we're taking this trade is we have a confirmed downtrend, have 800 EMA, 200 EMA, 50 EMA, BGA. Taking that all day long. All right, we have token versus tether. Token versus tether. This is in consolidation and it hit stop loss, so we won't be entering that. We have RTY. This is a sell. This is the future on the Russell 2000. You'll find this on Top Step X. So I'm going to take this on a sell from current price to 2470.7. Going to tighten up that stop. 3.18 risk to reward ratio. Entry price is going to be at 2488.5. Stop is at 2494.10. It's 56 pips. And take profits at 2470.70. And that's 478 pips. Second call of the day. This is futures on Russell 2000 RTY1. 15-minute confirmation. Market execution sell. Entry price is 2488.50. Stop loss is 2494.10 for 56 pips. Take profit is 2470.70 for 178 pips. And a risk reward ratio of 3.18. Moving on. All right, this is going to be a sell on M2K1. This is the mini for Russell 2000. You'll find this future on Top Step X. Price is going to be 2469.90. That tightened up the stop a little bit. It's going to be a 3.15 risk to reward ratio. Entry price at 2489.10. Stop loss at 2495.2. It's going to be for 61 pips. Take profit at 2469.9. That's for 192 pips. Third call of the morning. M2K1. This is the mini Russell 2000. 15-minute confirmation. Market execution sell. Entry price is 2489.10. Stop loss is 2495.20 for 61 pips. Take profit is 2469.90 for 192 pips. And a risk reward ratio of 3.15. We have a recall of MK21, so of RT1, so we're not going to be calling that. So we'll switch on over to Bitcoin on the 15-minute just to take a gander. And that's where we'll be staying. All right, so 7:58 in the morning. We've got a new ticker in a little less than 2 minutes. 8 o'clock in the morning, Central Standard Time. That's a 4-hour candle on the markets. And it's 30 minutes before the opening of the New York Stock Exchange. Right now, we're in pre-market trading. All right, set us moving a little slow this morning. We just got a signal call on US oil. Don't know exactly what it is yet. It's 8:04. Don't have any new signals for the 8 o'clock hour. We do have a retraction of the price of Bitcoin of 300 points since we got started. All right, so that was US oil and UK oil, both. We have take profits. So yeah, we got take profit here on US oil. That is a really smooth move. I like it. I believe we're in UK oil. No, we weren't, but that's still a smooth move to take profit. That's beautiful. Just another demonstration the system works. Blue on the top, gray in the middle, aqua on the bottom. That's the downtrend we would have taken the call. Entering on Wednesday the 15th at 10:30 in the morning. This after we end for the day. That's probably why we weren't in it. And just smooth to take profit. Real easy. Same thing on US oil. So congratulations to those that were looking at the charts at the time and took those moves. I likely took my behind to sleep because the double sessions from New York and London. Okay. So no new calls for 8 a.m., the top of the hour. We do have futures calls possibly coming up in 4 minutes at 8:10. Then we have the next ticker at 8:15 a.m. Central Standard Time for the rest of the market. All right, so now we wait some more. All right, we've got less than 2 minutes left before the quarter of the hour, 8:15 a.m. Central Standard Time. Trying to see if we get any extra traction this morning. We do have 3 calls. The first being Euro versus GBP. It's a 15-minute confirmation market execution sell. The second being RT1, the Russell 2000 future. And the third being M2K1, it's the mini Russell 2000 future. So those are the 3 calls from this morning so far. Get back to the chart and wait a little bit. It's got less than a minute left before it starts evaluating trades. And the way this works is we trade 328 different assets across multiple asset classes. Trading view takes about 3 minutes or so to go through all the different assets on the 15-minute time frame. And then it spits out possible entries on a buy or sell basis. Then we go to each one of those individual trades to see whether or not we have an uptrend or downtrend that's confirmed. If we do, we enter the trade in that direction. So if you're looking at a chart and you see the aqua line on the top, the gray line in the middle, and the blue line on the bottom, the 50, the 200, and the 800 EMA in that order, AGB, that's an uptrend on that time frame on that asset. If you're in a buy, you enter that buy. If you have blue on the top, gray in the middle, and aqua on the bottom, 800 EMA, 200 EMA, and 50 EMA in that order, you're in a downtrend on that time frame. What the strategy is looking for is a breakout above the Asian range, a lower high, and then across of the EMA to enter a trade. Or it's looking for a breakout below the Asian range, a higher low, and across of the EMAs. And then it marks off a trade for us. An example for that would be Alice versus Tether. This was something that was called earlier. And at the time, it was in consolidation, so we did not take the trade. But right now, the trade is blue on the top, gray in the middle, aqua on the bottom. If it was like that at the time the trade was called, we would have entered this on the sell, and voila, we'd be about 50% to take profit already. As you can see, it broke slightly to the top of the Asian range. It crossed the EMAs right here. And on the very next candle, actually on that same candle where the EMAs cross, the 5 and the 13, it called a short. The trade was marked 15 minutes later at the close of the candle. And voila, it's giving you the stop loss, the entry price. The gray area marks the area of movement of price action to 50% to take profit. And then your take profit is marked down here. It literally gives you the trade. It's always at least 2-to-1. If we were to mark out the exact parameters for this particular trade, for instance, entry would be at 0.3838. Stop loss would have been at what is that? 0.3920. No, that's where it is right now. We've been right by here. And take profit would be at 0.3949. Sorry, 3494. So original trade would have been right at 2.0. Of course, we would have entered right above the most recent price action, which is right above that wick right here. 30 minutes before the entry would have been a 4.00 risk to reward ratio for 344 pips. It's essentially all we're doing over and over and over and over again. In terms of our results for the year, $878 wins versus 668 losses since February the 3rd of this year. Win rate percentage of 56.79%. Pips won 3,465,176 and counting. So with that, we're going to get back to watching Bitcoin on the 15-minute. There are new trades that came out on the market for 8:15 in the morning. We do have futures calls possibly coming at 8:25 in the morning. It's about 7 minutes from now. And the next ticker for the market is at 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, the middle of the hour. Still about 3 more minutes left. The possible futures calls in the market at 8:25 a.m. Central Standard Time. Then past that, the next ticker for the rest of the market is at 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Both the opening bell for the New York Stock Exchange out of pre-market trading and the half of the hour. Good morning to those of you join us. Good morning, Faceless. Good morning to those of us also joining us on multiple platforms. I see you faces on YouTube. Also have people coming in from a few other platforms. I see people on Instagram. Welcome. Twitch, Apple TV, Amazon TV, and Kick. Welcome to the stream. I'm the Pivot Sign, your host of the Quiet Storm live trading session for New York. We're in the midst of waiting for the opening bell of the New York Stock Exchange. We do have 3 calls so far this morning. We've got a sell on Euro versus GBP. We have a sell on RTY1. It's the futures for Russell 2000. And we have a sell on M2K1. This is the mini Russell 2000, also a future. In terms of Bitcoin, which we do tracking down to live time, it's down about 700 points since the opening of the session today for New York. Was at 2754 up and change when we got started today. All right, it's now 8:25 in the morning. It's going to be about 8:28 once it gets through all the futures to determine if we have any entries there. Then 2 minutes later at the middle of the hour, we've got the opening bell of the New York Stock Exchange. This is where we have like an hour and a half where there's both the London market that's open and New York. A lot of liquidity, things moving a lot quicker, possibility for a lot of action. And it's also the period of time when you get the most take profits smashed during the day. During that cycle, you have more liquidity being pumped into the market. Now, thing that's kind of weird, the direction of the way money flows in the London market is typically perpendicular to New York. So this is why you end up getting a lot of take profits. Once London closes at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, if you can determine the trend of a trade, it becomes very smooth to take in when trades at that point because there's just one way that the money is moving. It's just that the trades move slower because there's no longer European money in the market. Fortunately for us, we don't have any major news today. There is rumored to be another major announcement coming from President Trump sometime tomorrow morning. Hopefully, it doesn't have as much of an impact as his announcement of 100% additional tariffs on China 2 weeks ago. If anyone was long at that point, you got liquidated. I hate that for you. I think it got as high as $20 billion in liquidations at one point. Fortunately for us, we were not in Bitcoin or anything going long at that point. So we didn't get hit too badly by that at all. Did make quite a pretty penny off shorts, though. As a matter of fact, the move down from Bitcoin from the all-time high of 126, 199 and change to 102, which is where it crested out at. We actually won 52 trades out of our existing book. So it took us from having 88 trades at the time down to 32. And since that point, we won an additional 4 trades. So on our main book, there's 28 open trades. And then we have some ancillary trades from a new broker, so we've added to the mix. BTC is our latest broker. So that all in all, we're at 54 trades open right now. 26 trades on BTCC, 28 trades on our main book of business. It's now 8:28, so we're not getting any futures calls for the 8:15 time mark. Less than 2 minutes left to the opening bell of the New York Stock Exchange. It hopes some fireworks. Guess we can take a look at the indices and see if there's any chance we might get some calls there. Again, we need breakouts of the Asian range for that to happen. Looks unlikely for the Dow Jones. We actually have one on the UK 100, but it's a consolidation, so we won't take that position. It's unlikely for S&P 500 and for NASDAQ. We're in the trade for Japanese Nikkei 225. We got into this trade at 7:30 in the morning on Friday. This is literally when the New York session started on Friday for us. We're going for 184,534 pips. As you can see, we are significantly into profit. So it's done quite well for us. Congratulations to those that caught that. It is possible we get a sell-off on the German 30. We'll see. Looks like we're too late to get into the French 40. We're in the Euro 50 and in profit. Nothing for the Spanish 35. And we're nicely into profit on the Australian 200. We also took this at 7:30, the opening bell of the New York session on Friday. So two indices, kicking butt on those. So that's why I say I'm really hopeful we'll get an entry on these U.S. markets because it's nice money. It's also extra equity to help you with other trades in your book. And an easy way to make your week, or sometimes your month. These indices are weighted far heavier than regular currency pairs. All right, it's now 8:31 in the morning. It's 1 minute past the opening bell of the New York Stock Exchange. Due to some acceleration of movement here, but I don't see any trades just yet. About 2 more minutes to 8:33 a.m., which is when trading view should be done. Evaluating trades. Bitcoin does appear to be up 170 points after the opening bell of New York Stock Exchange already, which is decent. Hmm. All right, so nothing for 8:30 in the morning. You have possible futures calls at 8:40 in the morning. That's about 5 minutes from now. Next ticker is 8:45 a.m. Central Standard Time, the quarter of the hour, 15 minutes after the opening bell of the New York Stock Exchange. All right, here we go. We got action. This is Great British Pound versus the Danish krone. I believe we looked at this earlier in the London session. And we entered a buy on that. So still going. Moved nicely in the profit and then retracted back. So we also have the UK 100. This is an entry we would not take. You have the 800 on the top, the 50 in the middle, the 200 on the bottom, blue, aqua, gray. That's a consolidation. It's one of the reasons why it reversed in price and hit stop loss. So won't be taking that. Hopefully it gives us a reverse of action and we get an entry, but that ain't it. And we have MET1. That is BGA, so we will be taking an entry there. Mm. And this is the micro Ethereum futures. You grab pivots, that's what I need. Short position from current price. Here's our take profit. Over stop up just a little bit. All right, we're going to take this for 4.03. Where's the reward ratio? This is a futures. You'll find this on Top Step X. One moment. All right, so this is a 30-minute confirmation, market execution sell. Risk to reward ratio is 4.03. Entry price is 40.43 even. Stop loss is 41.58 even. That's for 230 pips. Take profit is 35.79.50. That's going to be for 927 pips. Oops. MET1. All right, here's your next call of the day. MET1, this is mini Ethereum. The 30-minute confirmation, market execution sell. Entry price is 404300. Stop loss is 4158 even for 230 pips. Take profit is 3579.50 for 927 pips. Risk reward ratio of 4.03. In the meantime, we have just over a minute to 8:45 in the morning. The next ticker for the market, 15 minutes after the opening bell of the New York Stock Exchange. All right, here we go. It's 8:45 in the morning. No new signals just yet. It does take TradingView about 3 minutes to get through all the trades that we do trade. There's 328 different assets across multiple asset classes. So about 2 more minutes, we should know whether or not we're getting something for 8:45 in the morning. Okay, it doesn't look like we'll get any futures call for 8:45 either. So next checker is going to be at 9 o'clock a.m., the top of the hour, 30 minutes after the opening bell with the New York Stock Exchange. Have to see where we are. It's a future, so it's kind of a bad reflection. But 5 minutes, or less than 4 minutes rather, to the top of the hour. We'll get to see where we are. All right, so we're about a minute at the top of the hour, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. No new traction just yet. Got about a minute left before we find out if we get anything else here. We, of course, also have possible futures calls at 9:10 a.m. That's about 8 minutes from now. All right, let's see where we are. It's now 9:11. About 2 more minutes, we'll figure out if we get any futures calls for the 9 o'clock hour. Remember, futures are on a 10-minute time delay from the rest of the markets. Then our next ticker is going to be at 9:15 a.m. Central Standard Time. That's a quarter of the hour, 45 minutes after the opening bell of the New York Stock Exchange, to see if we have any other opportunities in the rest of the market. Pretty quiet thus far. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 calls for the session. So we started out with a sell on Euro versus Great British Pound. Went to the future on a Russell 2000 on another sell. The futures on the mini Russell 2000 on another sell. And then ended most recently on a sell on mini Ethereum on a 30-minute confirmation. And we do have a number of calls that are in profit, including 2 on Indices. They're doing quite well. Last Friday, at the beginning of the New York session, we called a buy on the Australian 200. As you can see, it is significantly into profit and it's on its way. We also have a buy on the Japanese Nikkei 225. Same thing. All right, we've got Euro versus the Hungarian Forint. We're in this call already. It's in profit. We have quite a ways to go on it. We're going to 386.736, but doing well on that trade. That is an exotic trade, so it's got a ways to go. In the meantime, we'll take a look at the Japanese Nikkei 225 as we wait for it to increase in price till we get our next ticker. About 1 minute and 4 seconds left to the quarter of the hour, 9:15 a.m. Central Standard Time. Let's see where we are. 9:17, about 45 seconds before 9:18. That's when we kind of know whether or not we're going to get any calls to the market itself. Does not look likely. At 9:25 is when we'll get possibly some entries for the futures market. Then at 9:30 will be our next ticker for the market, the half of the hour, 9:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Mhm. About 2.5 minutes left to go. So the half of the hour. Still doing quite well on the Japanese Nikkei 225. We're also positive on the Aussie 200. Kicking butt and taking names so far. So that Bitcoin trading less than 112K for the day. Hasn't broken that kind of psychological barrier right now, and I don't think it's going to do that today either. Mostly because there's pretty significant order blocks at around 111,800 that are forcing Bitcoin to stay below that threshold. All right, here we go. It's about 2 minutes past the half of the hour. We still have more traction on Japanese Nikkei 225 and Australia 200. At the end of this minute, we'll know whether or not we get any additional things coming from the market proper. And then at around 9:40ish, we'll know whether or not we'll get anything out of the futures market. Still quiet from the beginning of the session, which I'm completely fine with right now. So two more tickers, 9:45 a.m. and 10 a.m., in which case we'll go ahead and shut down the live for the day. I'm the Pit Messiah, your host for the Quiet Storm live trading session for New York. We hold 2 sessions per day every weekday. We have the London session from 2 a.m. in the morning, Central Standard Time, to 4 a.m. in the morning, Central Standard Time. We have the New York session at 7:30 a.m. Central Standard Time to 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Now, for New York, from 7:30 to 8:30 Central Standard Time in the morning, that is pre-market trading. The actual opening bell of the New York Stock Exchange clicks at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. And then you have a crossover between the London market and the U.S. markets both being open until 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. A lot of liquidity. Normally, a lot of the time, you're going to have a lot of take profits hit on trades that you've taken because of how fast trades can move, particularly if it lines up with major news items dropping around the same time. So nothing new coming from the market at 9:33. We get anything in the interim, it's probably going to be because of a stop loss hit or a take profit hit. We get futures calls in 6 minutes. We'll see here in a second. All right, let's see what we've got here. So the futures calls for 940. We've got 945 coming up in less than 2 minutes. We're getting closer and closer to take profit on Japanese Nikkei 225, which is really cool. So we had a nice giant win. It's 484,534 pips. Again, congratulations for those that you that took that last Friday. We're also getting closer and closer to take profit on the Aussie 200. Both of those should hit today. I believe we have a trade open on the Euro 50 as well. And it's close to take profit. So cheers to go around. These. I can dig it. So we do have breakouts in the north of the Asian range for NASDAQ, S&P 500, and US 30. So maybe get some retracement and a EMA cross for entries to sell off later today, which would be helpful. UK 100, that trade is invalidated because it's a consolidation, so it wouldn't touch that. With a long-handled spoon, there we go there. All right, 9:45 in the morning. It's going to take about 3 minutes from trading view to go through all the assets that we do trade to determine if we have entries at 9:45. Doing quite well. Again, we have almost winning entries on the Euro 50, the Aussie 200, and the Japanese Nikkei 225. I'm waiting on those to hit take profit, which in all actuality will happen sometime before the lunch hour for the New York Stock Exchange at noon Central Standard Time today. Let's take a look at Bitcoin because I haven't looked at it in a bit. Currently up 2,500 points. Still basically consolidation. Hasn't really moved up or down at all. High for today is at 111,679.25. That's this wick right here. I don't see any outrageous movements on any of the coins that we trade. Interesting. One more minute to 9:48, and we'll know whether or not we'll get anything from the market. Now, remember, futures are on a 10-minute time delay for the rest of the market, so we'll know around 9:55-ish whether or not we're getting anything from the futures market. 5 minutes after that, we have the last ticker of the morning at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time to see if we get any last trades before we close down for the New York session. I'm the Pip Messiah, your host for the Quiet Storm live trading session from New York. The Quiet Storm is held for the London session at 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. Central Standard Time every weekday, and for New York from 7:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. Central Standard Time every weekday. If you haven't already done so, I would appreciate it if you would follow the channel. Like the video and turn on those notifications to keep abreast of when I do go live in the market. Would love to have you join me. All right. Again, I am your host, the Pit Messiah, for the Quiet Storm live trading session for New York. The Quiet Storm is held every weekday from 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. Central Standard Time for London, and for 7:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. Central Standard Time for New York. If you haven't already done so, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel, like the video, and turn on those notifications to keep abreast when I do go live in the market. We're waiting 9:50 to see whether or not we get any additional, well, 9:55 rather, to see if we get any additional entries for the futures market. And then we have the last ticker at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time for entry into the market proper. We have up Aussie 200, which we entered at 7:30 a.m., the beginning of the New York session on Friday. It's about to hit take profit. It is 7 pips away from doing so. That'll be a nice win. We're also on take profit on the Euro 50, which is the kind of central stock exchange for Great Britain. Actually, not for Great Britain, for the European Union, rather. And we're close on trade for Japanese Nikkei 225. Just a massive upsurge of pips. This is 484,534 pips. Smooth entry at 7:30 a.m., the beginning of the New York session on Friday, and just straight butter. It's been great. All right, doesn't look like we're getting any futures. Fast approaching 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. It's going to be the closure of the London market. Things will accelerate in the short term because it's just U.S. money in the market. So whatever the existing trend is just going to amplify itself. There won't be money fighting in both directions. See what we end up getting here. About 2 minutes and 26 seconds left to the top of the hour. All right, there you go. About 10 seconds left to go. Let's see what we end up getting. Gonna go to about 10:03. That's normally when we know if we get something at the top of the hour. If we don't, I'll see you guys from London at 2 a.m. Central Standard Time. Now, it looks like we just got a ding on palladium. This is palladium. So no, we're not gonna take that. About a minute and a half left. A little less than a minute. Still nothing yet. TradingView should be just about through scanning all the different pairs here in a second. All right, nothing new for 10 a.m. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning for the London session, 2 a.m. Central Standard Time. Have a wonderful day. Cheers.